Intermediate unit. I'd like to make everyone aware that we are recording this session in order to provide and capture all the questions and answers that will be discussed this evening. The purpose of this meeting is to answer all the questions and regarding the high school's portion of the Norwin Online Academy, our fully online virtual school. Please note we will not be discussing the reopening of schools plan tonight. In order to decrease background noise, we have everyone muted. However, when we begin to do questions and answers, we will have you raise your hand by clicking the little raise hand icon on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. It should be under the participants window. And we'll begin with a brief presentation and then provide opportunities for questions and answers. So at this time, I'm going to share my screen with a PowerPoint and turn it over to Ms. Harris, who will take care of the PowerPoint. So give me 1 second there, Ms. Harris.
Okay. Because I used to do like beach Bibles. Okay, good evening, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming and joining us for our high school version of the Norwin Online Academy. On the first slide, you're going to see just an overview of the Norwin Online Academy. It was formerly just called the eAcademy, and even before that, it was called 21st Century Learning. But we have evolved with time after 12 years. You can see the second one is 12 years. After 12 years, we are now the official Norwin Online Academy. We have grown from going from high school, and now we serve kindergarten through 12th grade. Last year, enrolling over 125 students, part-time and full-time. With this program, it is not just Norwin who it encompasses. We do partner with the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit, and two parts of it. One is the eAcademy, which is grades 6 through 12. And the second part of it is the newer portion, which has been about 4 years, the Accelerate Learning, and that is K through 12. The benefits of the Norwin Online Academy, you can see there, this is not an all-encompassing list, but it's some of the things that we thought we wanted to highlight. I'm not going to read them all to you, but some of the ones that I think just stand out to me are: one, your child stays a Norwin student. You're not withdrawn, they remain a student. And with that, they can get a Norwin diploma. You can participate in graduation, play sports, clubs, all of those things, anything that can be done in school that children can still do who are on or have joined the online academy. With that, if you need a laptop or internet, we can also provide that to you. You have dedicated technical support, and one of the big things that people I don't think utilize enough is access to what we still have at school, the guidance counselors and counselors for social and emotional and well-being. So there are a variety of things and reasons why you would want to join the Norwin Online Academy. The registration process is very easy for the parents. To start the process, you go online. And here in this slide, you can see, you go to the Norwin website. On the toolbar, you'll see academics. Under academics, you're going to see Norwin Online Academy. When you click on the Norwin Online Academy, to the right will be a drop down, and there's a parent pre-registration orientation form. And if we click on that link right there, it's going to take you to it, and you can just see what it would look like so that when you do see it, you'll recognize it. And you'll know that you're in the right spot. Is that coming up? Oh, there we go. Well, maybe we have a little glitch there. We'll try and do that a little bit later. But it's very simple. If you follow those 4 basic clicks, you will have no problem finding that. If you do, please just give me a call at the end. I will give you my phone number so that you can call me directly in my office if you can't get to that. But what it is a simple registration that you're going to fill out for each of your children. And you're going to put, once you fill it out, you're going to put the grade level that they're going to. Are you going to be full-time, hybrid? It'll take you through the policies, the procedures that are in the district. If you have any questions at the end, you can type that you have questions, that you want me to call you, and I can give you a call. Once you hit submit, it does come directly to me. When I get it, this is where the process then continues. I notify your child's personal counselor. So by alphabet, every child has a counselor in their building. I notify the counselor of the registration form. Once the counselor receives that email, they then will reach out to the family, the child, and they will start the course selection. So the children, the students are a huge part of the course selection, especially at the high school level. You have your core courses that you need to take, but with the electives, they are able to pick the electives that they would want to take that are of interest to them. So in conjunction with the counselor, they do that. After that is set and they have the schedule, then I set their schedule into the Moodle system and they're registered. So you have very little to do in there except get that pre-registration form started. As soon as you get that going, the ball is rolling and we'll take it from there. The next part is the course selection, which I mentioned just briefly. With the course selection, again, this is something that's done in conjunction with the counselor. And the parents, you can have as much say in this as the student. If you want, you can always ask the counselor if you can come in for a meeting, or it can be done over the phone. You can do it in a Zoom session just like this. So there's a variety of ways to get it done. With that, it's a combination again of the core courses and electives, and a student can carry a maximum of 7.5 credits, and that's what they would be able to carry in school. So we give them the maximum amount of credits that they could also carry then on the online academy. AP and honor courses are also available, and the course catalog. This one that I have connected here is going to give you a good idea of some of the courses that are in there, and this is also on the website. But there is a new one that Becky Henderson, who's here with us tonight, she's been sharing with me, but I'm waiting to put it on the website until I get it. And we're looking for the descriptions of the courses so that you can read a little bit about each of the courses. So what I would tell you to do is on this one, which is on our website, you can go to it, get a good idea of what the courses are. And as soon as I have that final one for this year, I'm going to get that on our website as well. Everything that I reference here in this PowerPoint is going to be on the website, the majority of it by the end of the school day tomorrow. Teacher assignment. When the counselors pick the courses, our goal is to assign Norwin students with Norwin teachers. That's our first goal. So when we're looking at it, the eAcademy has Norwin teachers teaching the courses that typically they teach in their classroom. So our first thing is that we assign the students to Norwin teachers. If in the eAcademy the course is not available, we then go to Accelerate Learning. We also have teachers who will be teaching in Accelerate Learning. They're two different platforms, but they're both housed with the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit. If we can't get a Norwin teacher in the Accelerate Learning, then we go to our third option, which may be a Westmoreland County teacher. All of the teachers that are teaching in the academy, the eAcademy, are active teachers who are teaching in school districts and all state certified. So again, we go to the eAcademy Norwin teachers, Accelerate Learning Norwin teachers, and then we would look, if we can't find our teachers, to go outside into Westmoreland County. The role of the online teacher. So many parents, they say, what does the teacher do? You can see from this slide, it's not about just putting a course together and putting it out on Sunday and then checking the work at the end of the week. All of these roles, you see the tour guide, the co-learner, the big brother, all of these roles are encompassed by the teacher who's an online teacher. They mentor the students. They are going to be visual. They're going to be online. They're going to see these teachers in a variety of ways. So it's not just put out the work, check the work, move on. They're going to form a relationship with each of the teachers, and that is our goal. That's why we try to keep them with Norwin teachers, because we instill that in the teachers that we have in the program, that we want this to be as close to being in school and personal as we can while being online. Technology is available Families that do not have a computer or Wi-Fi at home can both be provided, both of those can be provided to you at no cost. Most home computers are compatible. I have never had a family say to me, and I've been doing this, the Online Academy, for 5 or 6 years now. I've never had a family say our computer wasn't compatible. And some of them tell me they're pretty old. So I think that the processes that they're using, the programs that they're using, are typically the ones that come on a computer, whether they're a little bit older or they're brand new. But I will also have for you tomorrow online, and it's under the Parent and Student Resources on the Norwin Online Academy. Sorry, my tongue's getting tied. There's a Parent and Student Resource section, and I am going to put a page on there tomorrow that will have very specific specs. If you would like specs, you can print it off, take it to Best Buy or wherever you may go, Office Max, on the computer, to buy your computer. So you could take that with you and you can show them exactly what the specs are that would be needed or are recommended for the program. Instructional delivery. This is where I get to take a break and untie my tongue a little bit. We have 2 people with us today who are going to entertain you. What they're going to do first is going to be Mrs. Nevy. She is one of our teachers at the high school, but she's also an online academy teacher. And she is going to take over at this point, and she's going to show you exactly what a course will look like. This is her course that she teaches online. So Mrs. Nevy, would you please take over?
Go ahead and unmute myself. And I hope everybody can see my screen. This is actually the student view of the course, so that you can see what it would look like on a daily basis. And a couple things that I wanted to point out: I've been teaching online for probably about 12 years now. I got on board with the program whenever I was completing my master's degree, which was also online. And I just love the aspect of online learning. So if you want to take a look, I pulled a couple different activities that go throughout the year. One of the things that I love best about online is that students can do it whenever they want to. They can rewatch things. So I'm going to show you a video here in a second where they can rewatch notes if they miss something. So the video, the sound probably will not play on this just for the environment that we're in. However, these are all narrated notes. They're usually about 10 minutes in length. And I'll play a little bit just so that you can see the screen go through, but just realize that there is sound with this. You just may not be able to hear it at this point. And if you, like I said, happen to miss something, you can always just scroll back like you would a YouTube video and watch it over again. So this would be a typical lesson for me, which would take about a week to progress. And I present the material in a few different ways. So you can see, like, I have narrated notes for students that tend to work best with narrated notes. I have visual notes, videos. So there's a bunch of different ways that I use depending on what objective I want to get across. And this one, I have a question on this slide, and the students are asked to answer it. And then the answers will be on the next slide. So they can see where I got all the information. It's color-coded in order to answer their questions. We do have reading. We use things called Flexbooks, and the students have access to these. They're online textbooks. They do have extra YouTube videos that are embedded that aren't, they're optional. So if they feel like they need it, they can absolutely use that. And the second thing that I use in my course is study guides pretty much every week, just to check to make sure that the students understand the concepts. I like to do the study guides because I can give individualized feedback on all of their answers. So if I notice they're missing independent variables on every single part of this, I know that that's something that I need to clarify again with them. So this is going to go over the set of notes that we just went through, and that's how I would know that they're understanding the material. The other thing that's a big concern in science is labs. So let me find a lab that I have here. There one is. Okay. So these, I usually have questions that they can answer about it. These are virtual. And in the event that something isn't working, I usually have a video that goes along with it that allows the students still to view what they're supposed to view with it. So there are virtual labs on here as well. And some of the other interactive parts that I typically use in my course are vocabulary. These are through Quizlet, but I have vocabulary parts that allow the students to identify different parts of the cell. So they can definitely use different interactive materials with these. I have another one that's microscopes that they can interact with as well to determine the different parts of a microscope. And the last thing that I use, there's a company that I really like that's called HHMI. I use these materials in my own classroom. A lot of the things that I do online, I use in my own classroom as well. And there will be videos and video questions that they have to answer before and after. So when do I typically do the work? I usually get to work about a half an hour early every day. So I can answer questions there that come in like throughout the evening. I will answer questions during my prep. I answer questions at the end of the day, and I usually do the work and grading for eAcademy at night. So I'll either do it at night on my own time, or 5 o'clock on Saturday morning is actually my go-to time to grade a lot of the assignments. So feedback happens for my course during the week, and then I usually grade assignments. I try to sit down and do those in one big chunk unless it's makeup work. Okay. And I think I'm good unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you. At this point, we're going to turn it over to Becky Henderson from the Intermediate Unit.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to show you the content that is from Accelerate Education. Let me get set up right here. Okay. So a lot of what you just saw in Mrs. Navy's biology class is going to feel similar in the fact that these courses are highly structured as well. Every time you walk into a course, you'll end up in this landing page. Now you can see right here, because I'm in it as an administrator, we don't have landing page content in yet, but this is where the teacher typically introduces themselves to the student, provides contact information, puts in a welcome message. From there, the first thing you're going to see is a resources folder, and this is in every single course that we have for our students. This is to help navigate each course. We know that just having this information on a main page where a student is not currently interacting with content can sometimes be a little time consuming for them to have to bounce back and forth. So we made sure that this folder is in every single course at the very start for our students. This is how they get comfortable with their course. Going into this getting started section, it's going to let them know the expectations for the course, as well as how to get in touch with their teacher, how to do some basic navigation within everything. The nice thing about this is we also have some accessibility features here. So for example, if you need content to be read to you, you can highlight it and play it. You can also go through, do translation features. You can have a picture dictionary pop up, features like that. As you navigate through, you'll also start to see multimedia elements. Some videos here. And the one thing that I do want to point out is that every video that we have in these courses also has a transcript underneath so that you can follow along. You can print these out, whatever is needed for the student to be successful. Beyond just that basic resources folder, each course is set up in modules, just like you saw in the biology course where they were listed as topic. the term here is module, but they are the same. Each of these is a unit, and within each unit, you have multiple lessons, each one approximately taking about a week. So you can see the different icons showing where the lesson content is, where a graded assignment would be. So if we go in and open up the scientific method, for example, you'll see the learning goals clearly stated, key terms that students need to remember, introductions that have interactive elements. So for example, these are flashcards. Click the show button and you get the definition for the term. As we continue to go through, you'll also see that there are templates that students can download to take notes. They have a notes feature right over here as well if they want to start a new note. They can bookmark certain parts of the lesson to remind themselves where specific content is. You can see the video right here. Again, pulling that transcript up. Students can bounce through a little bit more so that they can see additional content. They can also go back in those videos if they need to review something. You can go ahead and make it full screen as well. I'm not going to play that whole video for everybody. There are lots of video presentations in these courses to help reinforce the content. And in addition to the videos that are already embedded into the lesson, our teachers are highly encouraged to put their additional videos in so that they have a very strong teacher presence in every single course that we have. So not just that welcome video, but also an introduction to each lesson, an explanation of it in terms that might make more sense for their specific student population so that they understand common terminology that was used in the classroom that's also being used online. When you get to quizzes, you can see right on here that right now this one is set to have 2 attempts. Teachers have absolute control over how they want to do that. But if a student needs a second attempt at any assignment for any reason, the teacher has the ability to easily do that. There's a lot of flexibility in these materials for our teachers, and I think that's really important. So when you go through and you see automatically graded assessments such as quizzes, you're going to see items such as multiple choice questions. Students can move through them very quickly. Just because I click on an answer doesn't mean I have submitted that answer. I can go back if I want to change my mind. In larger assignments, you will also see written questions, written responses that teachers need to make sure they go in and manually grade so that it's not just constant multiple choice. We want students to think deeply about the content that they are seeing. Before a student completes a quiz, an exam, a unit project, they get a chance to review everything before they submit their work. In addition, each module has a teacher study guide that is designed to help provide additional support to the teachers to make sure that they understand more of the development philosophy behind how everything is presented. There's also a module journal for students. Throughout each of the lessons, you will see journal prompts where they want you to think about the content being presented in different ways, make real world connections to that content. And this is the place where students can go ahead and start building out those journal entries. Journal entries such as this, gradebook assignments, those are all directly communicated between the student and the teacher. They are not public. None of that information is, or responses are shared with other students within the class. And again, let me just pull up an exam real quick so that you can see some of those written options as well as we go through. You'll see that a module exam is a little bit longer than a quiz for each lesson. And right here, we have what is called a WYSIWYG editor, which stands for what you see is what you get. Students can type their response in the box. They can bold and underline. They can change some text colors here. They have some formatting options. If a link is required, they can put in links, images, links to videos. They can embed a table, whatever is required for them to have a comprehensive answer on this. And again, same process. They can go back and forth, make sure that they agree with their answers before they submit. And then again, at the very end, the semester exam would be just a longer version of that. Each quiz is directly covering the content that is provided in the lesson before it. Each module exam covers content from every lesson within that module. And then the semester exam covers content from within the entire semester course. And that is it. If there are any questions, I am happy to answer those.
Thank you, Becky. We'll hold off on questions until the end, okay? Great. All right, I'm going to go back into our presentation again.
We can go to grading. There we go. Okay. Welcome back. We just have a couple more slides to go over, and then we're going to get into the question and answer portion of this evening. Grading, a big question that I had from the parents is, please tell me it's not pass and fail. It is not pass and fail. There will be no pass and fail grades that are given this school year. So the students will follow the exact Norwin grading scale that we have in the building. That will be the same grading scale that will be used for the online academy. The daily requirements for a typical day. The day can look very different for different students because of the flexibility of the schedule. And that's the beauty of the online academy, is we have students who work during the day. We have students who may have other obligations during the day, or at night they may do something. With this program, it gives them the flexibility to set their schedule. So if they get up, they like to get straight to work, they may start and get busy and take a lunch break and work right through. Other students may work in the evening. The one thing that we do encourage the students to do is to set a schedule. No matter when that schedule is going to be, what time frames that's going to encompass, but every day make it a schedule, make it a priority. Those are the students that have the most success. Oh, one more thing about that. Another question is the time spent in each of the courses. The time spent in each course is also dependent on the activities or the assignments that are given. 1 week it may be a much more detailed, research-based assignment that's going to take a lot more time being in the classroom, reading more work, doing more research, and possibly the following week it might be an assignment that doesn't require as much reading, doesn't require as long of an assignment. So it is going to vary from week to week, assignment to assignment, as to how long a child will be in each class each day. For special education, gifted education, and 504 plans, they are all 3 followed in the online academy. What happens is what I would encourage you to do is, if any of your children do have an IEP, GIEP, or 504, the first thing that you want to do is you want to contact the school, let them know that you are interested in going to the Norwin Online Academy, and request an IEP or GIEP meeting or a 504 meeting. In the meantime, while they're getting that plan together and they're getting the meeting together, you can go on and complete the parent pre-registration orientation form. You do not have to wait until after the NOREP is signed. The NOREP would be the new notice of recommended placement, which would now be online instead of in the building. You can get that registration done, and we can get on my side of it, we can get the classes and start getting some things done while you're preparing and getting the paperwork ready for the IEP or GIEP. With that, we cannot answer the questions myself as to what do the accommodations look like? What accommodations can my child get? Those are questions that will have to be answered by the IEP team or GIEP team. That with every child, what their needs are so significantly different that each SDI sheet is different. So that would be decided by the team, and then it's uploaded so that the teachers have access to it, and it is followed by all of the teachers. Parent involvement is strongly encouraged. I encourage you, parents will get accounts You will have an account that has your username and password. In this account, you can monitor the students' attendance, grades, work completion. You can see what they see, and Mrs. Henderson, please correct me if I'm wrong, in the Accelerate Learning, the parents actually get another account and they can see what the student's work looks like. So it's very friendly to help the parents stay in tune with what the child is doing.
Yes, absolutely. We have what's called a learning coach role for Accelerate Education, so they can see exactly what's happening.
Right, thank you. So please, parents, make sure that you get that account. When you get it, you will have a standard password, and then you change it, and then you have access to the student's work. Okay, that brings us to the end of the overview, and hopefully we answered a lot of the questions that you have. But at this point, if there's anything that we didn't cover, at this time we'd like to take those questions, and if you would raise your hand, you will be asked to unmute, and we can take your questions one at a time.
Okay, I believe, have to unmute you in this Zoom room.
Okay.
So Dr. McCracken, if you wouldn't mind starting at the top and working our way down, please.
Sure, I'll do that. The first is going to be Lisa. I'll unmute.
Hi, one of my questions is if the child starts in hybrid and chooses to switch over, is that possible?
Yes, if they go hybrid or if they go full-time, they can switch back at any time, and that would be vice versa. If they would even start in the building and they would decide, they can always switch and go to the Norwin Online Academy as well. And that we do encourage that if you're going to make a switch, it's educationally sound to do it at a break, like a 9 weeks or Christmas break, semester break. But that is not written in stone. A parent can choose to bring them back at any time.
Okay, and then as far as my daughter has a couple AP classes scheduled. One of them is AP Bio, and I believe that's Mrs. Anselmino that teaches that class. She also has AP Government. Is there a Norwin teacher that teaches online AP Government?
At this point, I don't believe we have one that teaches AP Government, but we are updating the catalog. We are updating the catalog, so I don't have an all-encompassing list of that yet.
Okay, and is there anatomy, college writing, and science research available through the online?
What I would encourage you to do is to go online, because again, I don't have the catalog here to tell you what's available and what's not available. That's something that you would go to the counselor. When you're looking to pick your courses, you're going to go to the counselor. They're going to have all of the courses that are going to be available, and they're going to help you to choose what courses would be best suited for your child.
Okay, and one final question. The registration that you said we have to go into, and that's only if we're doing the online academy, right? If we're doing hybrid, we don't have to do that.
No, if you're doing the Norwin Online Academy hybrid, then you still have to do it. If you're doing what was proposed by the board on, was that Monday night, Tuesday night, Monday night? If you're doing that hybrid, we call that remote learning, and that you would not have to do it. Does that make sense, Lisa?
Well, I think I'm a little confused. What's the difference between the online hybrid and the hybrid that was chosen Monday?
What we're calling them two separate things. So if you hear remote, the remote learning is what was adopted by the board on Monday night. That's going to be coming to school 2 days and doing remote learning for 3 days. The Norwin Online Academy is a 5-day program that they do their work online.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next person is Lori Andrews.
All right, hi. I have a few questions here. My first is about like live instruction. I noticed that on the one slide under instructional delivery, it said it's asynchronous and synchronous something, but it wasn't really talked about. Will there be any live instruction provided for the online academy?
It depends on the grade level. The higher up that you get in the program, there is much less of the synchronous learning, simply because of the things that I said. When the student, the beauty of the older kids in it is the flexibility. If we have them all doing synchronous learning, then they all have to sit down at the same time and they all have to do the same work at the same time. For the older students, we want that flexibility of the schedule. So there's not going to be that synchronous learning. As you go down, we do have synchronous learning in the lower levels that will be daily in a variety of lessons throughout the day.
Okay, so it's still just K through 5. The district didn't make any changes to the 6 through 12 for that part.
For the synchronous, no.
Okay, thank you. I do appreciate adding on the accelerated learning program. I think that was a good addition for the district, so I commend you for like listening to feedback and adding that on. I was vocal about that before, so I want to give credit where credit's due.
Thank you.
The other question I had, so if I understand it correctly, the WIU eAcademy is in Moodle, and that is like teacher created. There was nothing prescribed. They had to choose and create the entire program. The Accelerate Learning is a prescribed curriculum that was pre-built by someone outside of the teacher, and then they're just going to supplement it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect. And then this might be too specific of a question that applies to only my child. So if it is, just tell me who to contact another time. But I did look through the updated course for the Accelerated Learning. And again, there's a lot of more courses offered. So again, I thank you for that. I appreciate it. The one course in specifically wasn't offered that my son was slated to take. So if I choose another course for him while he is in the online academy, but then at some point throughout the year feel that it's safe for him to return to the in-school, can he enter the original course he was supposed to take even though he hadn't performed any of that curriculum in the online academy, if that makes sense? I can give specifics if I need to, but again, I don't know if that's a specific question for another person.
Yeah, I think that's a specific question. You would want to call their counselor, and then they can talk specific to that question and to your child.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything again.
Thank you, Lori.
Okay, the next person is CB.
Hi, I just had 2 questions. My first is, we are talking about the counselors being available. Are they available now for us to talk to them?
The counselors are in and out. They're not in steady right now. I know there were a couple in at the high school today, but they do have set schedules because they, just with the contract, they're not in all summer. There are specific days that they're in. So if you call the guidance office, they can let you know when your specific counselor will be in.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then my other question is how the online academy works with college and high school.
Can you be more specific?
So there's some courses that the kids are able to take where they're gaining college credit, like through University of Pittsburgh, as an example, as one of them. Are they still able to do that with the online academy?
Becky, would you be better to answer that?
Sure.
Thanks.
So we do have currently 2 dual enrollment courses that we offer that were developed in partnership with our teachers in Westmoreland County and CWCC. However, we haven't expanded quite so much into the college and high school realm yet, simply because each individual university has a specific middle states charter that states whether they can have credit for those courses in an online format or not. And up until last March, a lot of them weren't really thinking about bringing their courses into an online format. So now they're starting to broach that subject with us. And we are hopeful that we're going to be able to develop a few more. However, they will not be ready for the fall because I don't think that would be a high quality experience for students if we tried to rush it in a few weeks.
Thank you, Becky.
I can interject one follow-up as well. Dr. Chobe here. The question about entering and exiting courses, you would not be able to earn credit on courses that aren't finished. So we would recommend, if that happened, to stay in the Norwin Online Academy course all year, but come back to us possibly for your remaining 7 credits. But that course could stay through the Norwin Online Academy the entire year to earn that full credit. Rather than having to jump back in, you would not earn credit in not finishing those courses.
Right. The next question would be from Brooke Mordaunt.
Hello?
Hi, Brooke.
Hi. So our son is currently in some AP classes. He's been doing some summer courses, summer assignments for those classes. If he switches to the Cyber Academy, would he still need to complete those summer courses for his teachers, or does he not have to complete those at that point?
Dr. Chobe, could you answer that?
I'm unmuting him now. Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, absolutely. The summer assignments are specific for the Norwin High School brick and mortar courses. So I would keep going ahead with those until fully enrolled in the Norwin Online Academy. And then once that transition happens, they would not apply. Our summer enrichment activities would not be exactly parallel with what they offer through either Accelerate or the Norwin Online Learning.
Okay. And also, if he's going to be continuing in the marching band, would he be coming to school for those specific classes and doing the rest of his classes online?
Yes, for anything that they would do, if they did band, chorus, we have students who come in for those things, they would come. They could be dropped off and picked up, and then they would do their other courses online.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next person is Brian.
Hi, thank you. 3 questions. Did you say earlier that the slides from tonight would be available online?
I did not. Dr. Taylor, do you want to put those online? Yes, yes, they will.
Yep.
Okay, great. And then will the online academy identically mirror the school curriculum lesson plans?
No, it does not identically mirror the in-classroom courses.
Okay.
The teachers who teach it, like Mrs. Nevy or Mrs. Bryan, they do base it because they usually teach those. The teachers who teach in the online academy typically teach the same course in school. So they will follow that along. Mrs. Nevy or Mrs. Bryan, do you want to answer that? Do you follow along with what you do?
Oh, very, very closely. Both of my courses parallel, so it truly is a seamless transition from brick and mortar to online and vice versa.
Okay, great, thank you. And then last question, I may have missed it, but where can you find the list of the courses that are available on Accelerate?
We're going to get that. I believe there is online. If you go under the parent and student resources, you're going to see a section in there for Accelerate Learning.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next question will be from Julie.
Hi. I have a question as far as, can a child switch easily from eAcademy from the eAcademy honors to a brick and mortars honors if the situation that we're in currently changes?
If it is the same course, and this is why we always try to get the Norwin teacher for our students first. If it is a Norwin course and they can switch right back into it, yes, we do that.
Okay. And then I have one more question as far as like the biology or chemistry classes. How do labs work with that in an eAcademy environment? Since I don't envision that they're really hands-on like a traditional brick and mortar lab would be.
I'll fill that one. I do have virtual labs that I do with the students. I also have videos like of recorded ones that I've done in class. So like demos and things like that. So there's a little mix of both for the eAcademy.
And in addition, we also have access to open educational resources and virtual lab simulations through PhET, which is out of the University of Colorado Boulder, so that students can physically manipulate virtual labs instead of doing things hands-on.
And I know in my geometry class, brick and mortar, that we do labs there that are very easily, they're more manipulative in nature, so they very easily can transfer into the online environment.
All right. The next question will be from Tony Bruno.
Yes. So my first question revolves around IEP and the support system that's there. Is Ms. King going to be working with the online students as well? Or is there somebody else that will be working with the online students?
A student that has an IEP, they continue to have their case manager from the building. So that does not go away.
Okay, and then the second question that I have, and I know we've talked about like band and chemistry labs and robotics being one of the classes that's available at the school. Would that be something brick and mortar that he would be able to go and attend the class at school and then come home?
That would be considered similar to a hybrid. We have students who may take, if they wanted to take chorus, they would come in for chorus.
Right.
If there was a course that they wanted to come in to take, they would be able to do that.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next questions will be from Jennifer Kemmerer.
Hi, my question is in regards to those students that are going to attend VOTEC as well. I'm not exactly sure how that works with the online classes.
Yes, and Mr. Chobe, Dr. Chobe, would you like to field it?
Absolutely. We're excited to return to CWCTC this fall because, you know, for 9 weeks in the spring, we weren't able to go at all. They'll currently be following our blended plan of going there on the 2 days per week and then having remote learning 3 days per week, depending on the blue group or the gold group. So if your child's last name starts with a K, that would be on the Monday, Tuesday, going here for half the day and then going to CWCTC the other half. And they are providing, they've been working really hard. I talked to Mr. Capper, the principal, about doing both synchronous and asynchronous virtual learning for students who aren't in attendance at their 7 sending schools on the off days or on the remote learning days. So for us, that'd be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So that would be in addition to, like, if he is completely doing online classes then, and then the other 2 days would be at the VOTEC, either, well, 2 days in person and then 3 days online.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
If your child is the full 4 classes online, then he would still attend CWCC currently on only those 2 days of in-person instruction, Monday and Tuesday.
And then I'm sorry, one more question. How would he get to the VOTEC? Would we have to bring him up to the school or take him directly to the VOTEC?
Sure. So if this for anybody listening, and just for you particularly, if they're an AM CWCTC student, they can ride the bus, or you bring them or drive to school once we get through that process like normal. Go on the bus to CWCTC for the full half day. And then when he or she would return here, you would have to provide transportation home in order to do the remainder of the day through Norwin Online Learners Academy. The opposite will be true for the afternoon students. Parents have to get them here or be dropped off there, or student drivers that we're working on some details about driving to CWCTC. It's very limited because of 7 schools and think of the hundreds of students that go there. But then we would definitely provide transportation home at the end of the day for PM CWCTC.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Kemmer.
The next questions are from Beth Klingensmith.
Hi, Beth.
Hi. Nice to see you in person, Ms. Harris. We've talked a couple of times.
We have.
I have children in 6th grade and 8th grade, and I know this is the high school session, but I wasn't able to get in last week, and we're trying to make decisions. I think I heard the comment made that everything will be asynchronous for the upcoming year in the online platform. Is there any consideration being given to the fact that it's a different type of student looking to use the online eAcademy or the Accelerate Learning platform than maybe who would have been looking at it in the past? These are, you know, unprecedented circumstances, and we're really being given a choice between 2 days of in-person instruction for the current hybrid model with the current state, or completely asynchronous learning. and there's maybe an opportunity there where we could provide synchronous learning for the types of students that are looking into the online academy this year.
Again, up to 5th grade, the students will have synchronous learning incorporated into their day. Once you get up 6 through 12, it's going to become less. So they may have, they are able to talk to the teacher, they can Zoom with the teacher, they can email the teacher, but once you get up.
My concern is, I think we're asking a lot of everyone this year, and I know these are, really difficult times, but if a teacher is, if our preference is to put these kids in Norwin-led curriculum, Norwin-led teacher instruction class, that teacher is also juggling the A or the blue kids, that may be in class, the gold kids that are at home, and now they have on top of that, my kids in this online e-academy. If we never have FaceTime with them in a synchronous format, I feel like those children are kind of like forgotten about and really not well known by those teachers. So it doesn't give a very warm and fuzzy feeling that, when we have these different work streams, if you would, these kids never really have synchronous learning with a teacher. And even at a college level, those are higher level learners. They still have lectures. They still have that interaction with the professor. And I know my kids are 6th grade and 8th grade. They're not in the high school, but I still think that there's value in having that direct interaction with an educator, particularly for courses like math, ELA, and science.
So can you talk a little bit about the expectations for synchronous in the Academy, please?
Yes, sorry. I think we all just kind of talked over each other there a little bit. So one of the things that we have started to realize very much from our parents is that there is a definite need for synchronous sessions. So there will be a minimum of 1 synchronous session for the whole class offered in eAcademy and through our Accelerate Education courses each week. That is not going to be a required time frame, as we know that there's a lot of flexibility and variability in people's schedules. However, that session will also be recorded and will be distributed to everyone within each of those courses. In addition to that, our teachers are always encouraged to set up one-on-one synchronous sessions for any student that needs it at any time. So if this is a one-on-one pull-out, if it's just somebody who's really struggling with a specific concept, we always encourage that. We're actually putting together guidance for our teachers right now that helps them to understand the expectations for how to set up those sessions, when to set them up, making sure that they work for everybody.
And are there going to be guidelines of what is to be accomplished during those synchronous sessions? Is it just like a meet and greet? Is that when we're going to be, I guess doing like the lecture or the principal demonstration of material, so that, I've heard teachers say like they need to see the lights go off in the kids' eyes. And I know that that's really challenging, but if we're enrolling in a completely online environment, when are they ever going to have that chance to see the lights going on or the lights not going on? And that's the reason for concern. And they're able to like skip ahead and answer the question correctly because they're savvy that way.
Yes, and you absolutely hit the nail on the head. I think that overwhelmingly, a lot of our teachers said the biggest struggle for them when everything got shut down and everyone got forced into a emergency remote learning situation was that they lost the visual cues from their students as to whether they really understood a concept or not. So everything that we're doing to put these synchronous sessions in place is to make sure that we are presenting instructional content, setting up a supportive learning environment again. Yes, there's going to be a little meet and greet and get to know each other because that is critical to a teacher being able to understand what's going on with individual students. But it's also going to be an opportunity for them to present content, to reteach it in multiple formats, and to reinforce what is being taught throughout each lesson.
And when is that going to happen if this teacher is Monday through Tuesday with the blue students, Thursday, Friday with the gold students, and Wednesday is they're addressing those questions, doing their, I kind of feel like the online kids taught by Norwin teachers are going to be the forgotten children, and that's a great concern. If you go to a cyber online academy, those teachers aren't juggling 2 other cohorts of students.
Yes, well, I promise you that and I apologize, Peggy and Natalie, I know I'm kind of speaking for both of you here, but I know that our eAcademy teachers, they value every single one of their students, regardless as to whether they see them in the physical classroom or online. They will not be the forgotten children. These teachers are incredibly dedicated. Natalie just said that she does a lot of her work early on Sunday mornings. They're going to find time in their schedules, whether it can be physically during the school day or if it's outside, because that makes the most sense for their schedule and for student schedules, to find time to have those sessions. At the IU, we do not dictate their schedules because we know how much they have going on just in a normal school year, as far as their daily tasks and what they need to do, and when they're in class, and when they have preps, and when they have coverages. So we really work very hard to make sure that we're finding times that work for everybody and are sensitive to the fact that we know just how much struggling and juggling everyone's going on with their schedules right now.
And my intention doesn't mean that a teacher doesn't want to give it. It's just there's a lot.
I know.
Everyone's being asked a lot
Yes.
right now.
Yes,
one
they are.
quick follow-up question.
Mrs. Klingensmith, can I ask,
yes.
can we, would it be all right if you contacted Ms. Harris directly? Because we want to focus tonight on just the high school courses, and tomorrow is actually the middle school, but if you reach out to Ms. Harris directly, I'm sure she can address your middle school questions tomorrow.
Okay.
Because we're at 7:30 already, and I promised everyone we'd be about an hour, and I see we still have a number of hands up from some high school parents. So I don't want to cut you off, but I'm trying to focus tonight on the high school.
That's fine.
Please give me a call tomorrow, Mrs. Klingensmith.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll do the next questions from Amy Stape.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So my daughter made her schedule at the end of the last school year, and I know a lot of students didn't get to finish that before the school got closed down. Will she keep that same schedule, or is that something that they will redo?
Dr. Chobe?
Yes, I believe the question is about the schedules for this school year.
Will they keep the schedules that they started at the end of last school year?
Yes, the answer is yes. Counselors will be in reviewing those. They started this week, and we'll be rolling those out through information update on Monday the 17th.
Okay.
Have that answered your question, Ms. State?
Okay, yes. Another question is, I don't see calculus in the online course selection. Do you know if that will be available?
Do you know offhand, Mrs. Henderson? I don't have the catalog in front of me. If you give me a call tomorrow.
Sorry, I realized I was mute. I'm pulling
That's okay.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Go ahead.
While she's looking at that, can I ask you something else?
Sure.
Okay. My daughter's going to be a junior this year, and then to graduate, she only needs to take 2 classes her senior year. She had a friend who took those 2 extra classes her junior year to graduate a year early. Is that going to be something that we're able to do?
Again, I'm going to defer to Dr. Chobe.
I can answer that. Yeah, that is an option. Students work through their counselors if they're interested in graduating early. Some students have done it at their semester break of their senior year, and some have advanced themselves and done it at the end of their junior year. We do usually look at courses in the summer to verify how that plan would work. But that is an option, Ms. Stape. You reach out to Ms. Thorson, your child's guidance counselor, and we could work on that as a potential plan.
Okay. And she's in marching band as well. Now they usually take, oh, I'm sorry. Was she checking on the calculus still?
We have pre-calculus and then AP Calc as well.
You had AP Calc? No normal calc though?
Those are just the 2 that are currently listed. I can double check, but I'm almost positive those are the only 2 that are listed.
Okay. We can even work with her counselor on that too. I just didn't see it right away. Now also marching band usually takes place in the morning during homeroom and then also after school. Do we have any idea if those practices will be consolidated into one? Because that's 4 trips back and forth to the high school for the parents if we're transporting. Any info on that?
Yes, Ms. State, as you know, band is actually a first period academic class. So that's where they get their grade for the course, and that would still be a requirement if you're going to stay in the academic class. There will be planned on intermittent evening rehearsals as well. That's really a part of the whole program, both in school as an academic class and part of the co-curricular parts of it.
Okay, got it. And last question, I didn't understand the difference between Ms. Henderson's slide and when they would use that accelerated learning program versus Moodle. I'm just not understanding the difference between the two.
What we will do, you have the eAcademy and you have the Accelerate Learning. Most of your core courses and electives are teacher created in eAcademy. That is where we go to first. That's where the majority of the courses are at. The Accelerate Learning has more of the honors courses, the AP courses that we go to if we cannot find them in the eAcademy.
Oh, okay, I see, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, the next questions are from Diane Pisarcik.
Hi there. Thank you first, all of you, for your time and effort put into this. We greatly appreciate it. My question tonight is with regard to use of the word hybrid. Does that mean that a student could take, say, honors and AP courses, brick and mortar, and then all the other courses where they feel that they could do them through the eAcademy, they can do that? Is that an option?
That's exactly correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, the next questions are from Steve P.
So also, I was listening to the first one that
Okay, they were muting. So Steve P, I'll unmute.
Hello. Thank you for all of your help and guidance with everything. I have two questions. Since the Online Academy is going to be new for most of the students, is there kind of a learning curve on, navigating through this, or are they expected from day one to be up and running and knowing what to do?
Well, there is an orientation when you get online, and I think Mrs. Henderson referred to when you first get in. What was it called again? That first, Mrs.
In
Henderson?
Accelerate, those are called the resources folder.
There you go.
And then within our eAcademy courses that are in Moodle, each of our teachers has a course introduction that also explains course navigation and how to handle the system.
Okay, perfect. And the second question is, I know someone stated before if you were doing the Online Academy and you wanted to come in for band or chamber singers, you can come into the building. But what if a student is, say, compromised or could not make it into the building? Is there any kind of option for like virtual for chamber singers or band?
Dr. Chobe, is that going to be available? At this point, I don't believe so.
Yeah, we currently are not providing like a alternative chamber singer specific course or other like highly elective options like that. Those would really be the alternative choices through Norwin Online Learning Academy for what electives they offer in replace of those.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, the next question is from Alicia.
Yes, I had a question. Last year and then again this year, my son was going to do one class online. And at the end of this school year, after speaking with his counselor, I think I went on and pre-registered him already. So if he is going to do all of his classes online, do I need to get back on and re-register him?
No, if you have one pre-registration form out there, if you just want to give me a call tomorrow and let me know that you're going to be full-time, you do not have to do another form.
Okay, next question. Back to if a student comes in for one class, like such as my son does ROTC, I don't know if that's something he'll have to come in for, and he also does tech. When or how do we maybe find out about driving? Like he's in 11th grade, like he can transport himself, like if we can't get him there.
Dr. Chobe? Students and
Yes.
driving?
I didn't know how soon.
Sure. We are working this week on that parent selection form, and obviously including that, I'm sure many of you have already completed. I sent it out again this evening for hopefully many of you to finish. The data we will use of students who are returning, we'll be sending out much more specific student driving or riding with the student, parent driving and busing information, probably late this week or early next week, as soon as we can work on who's coming back with us. So your son, as an example, as a junior, would definitely be able to be a student driver. And we are expanding those opportunities because we believe that parents need that flexibility during this specific time, and to help out with busing transportation as well. So we will definitely be working with families late this week, early this week at the high school for student driving.
Okay, and then final question, like sort of still about the driving. If he wouldn't come into Norwin for that course, would we have to deal with tech if we wanted him to just drive there, or will that fall under the information you're going to send out?
Yes, so there would definitely be two options. So he'd either be able to drive here and then take our PM CWCC bus out and back. If there are enough options at CWCC for student driving, then we would communicate how to go about reserving those spots.
Okay.
I do know it's going to be more heavy for seniors in co-op out there than it would be for juniors. But we will definitely be communicating that soon.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next hand is Kelly Copper.
Ellie there? Ellie Copper?
There, I hit unmute. Kelly, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay, you can hear me?
Got it. Yep, we can
All
hear
right.
you now.
It wasn't letting me unmute myself. I had to hop on late, and I don't know if this has already been answered or not, but my son is VOTEC only this year. And I want to know how that's going to work for him when VOTEC is open 5 days. And that's the only thing he's going for. How is that going to work for him?
Hey, Miss Copper, it's Dr. Chobe. How about you give me a call tomorrow morning and we can talk about specific things for students who go to all day CWCTC. Does that work with your schedule tomorrow?
It should. I don't think we have anything medical tomorrow. So
Sure,
give the high school a call in the morning.
Yes, ma'am. We'll be here to answer your question.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next hand is Paul.
Hello. Hi. Just a quick question, not really related to Online Academy, but more the operational hybrid model, the 3 days of remote learning. How is that going to be significantly different or hopefully better than what was done in April? And is it comparable to what I just learned about in Online Academy?
Paul, we are really focusing on the Norwin Online Academy tonight, but if you want to give my office a call tomorrow, I can definitely walk you through that process.
Okay. We have a few more hands. I'm trying to take hands. I'll take all the hands of people who've not yet asked questions. Anna Whitaker. Anna, you'll need to unmute yourself. I click the button and then you'll have to unmute.
It's not working. They're asking me.
Oh, there you go.
We can hear you.
Okay. We can hear you now.
Okay. On the eAcademy website, under the course offerings for the eAcademy and the Accelerant Learning, would it be possible to list the name of the Norwin teacher or teachers who are teaching each class?
Yes, we're going to get that from the WIU as part of the new catalog that's coming out so that we can have the course and the teacher.
And is this something that you said would be available tomorrow by the end of the day, or?
That I don't think will be available by tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next hand is Marilyn Bevington.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Marilyn.
Hi. I see a lot of familiar faces. So my son's a senior this year, and my first question is, are the requirements for the online academy different than the brick and mortar requirements? For example, he did not need to take a science for his senior year. He's done. He took physics. He didn't need to take a science his senior year. But I think I saw last night that science is a requirement for the online academy.
Yeah, what'll happen is when he goes to create his schedule with his counselor, he will take the courses that he needs to take. So
Okay.
if he's met his requirements, then he'll fill in with other things. He won't be required just to take it because it says science. He, as a senior, it'll be the courses that he should take that come naturally in his schedule.
Perfect. And then that brings me to my second question, which Ms. Stape had covered. So the schedule he made in April, that doesn't get wiped away. It kind of stays with him.
If it's going online, what will happen is his counselor will try to align it with the courses that are online.
Okay.
And then he may have to pick a couple different electives, but there's a lot of electives, a nice group of electives that he'll be able to choose from. So they will align it so that he has all the courses that he needs for graduation.
Well, okay, that's my last question. He needs to take French 3 in order to get into college, and I didn't see French 3 in any of the catalogs, so that's a concern of mine. He French 3, so
there is French 3 in Accelerate Learning. I do have that paper in front of me.
Okay,
so I just quickly glanced down, and I do see a French 3 in there.
Awesome.
So again, he'll work with his counselor, what he needs for graduation. They'll make it work for him.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for all your effort.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the next hand, Rich and Betty Ann Nemeth. Apologize for the mispronunciation.
That's okay. Yes, I just wanted to confirm, you said there will be a new course catalog out tomorrow or maybe later this week, and that will that include like 9 through 12 courses?
Yes, Mrs. Henderson, when will I be able to get, or we can work together to get that new course catalog out for the parents?
Yes, we're creating some new system functionality so that it's a lot cleaner for everyone, has a syllabus as well as a comprehensive description of each catalog. Our teachers are working all summer to help build all of this out with us on their end. So as soon as we have everything in, that functionality will be enabled for everybody.
Yeah, because my daughter was signed up for English 10 honors. I say English 10 out there, and it references some of the same books. Like she had an assignment to read over the summer, so I didn't know if that is the equivalent or not. Since it doesn't say honors online, it must not be the honors course.
The honors course again would come through the Accelerate Learning, and so it probably is a different course than just the English 10.
Okay.
Okay, and I have a question. Is there a timeline where we have to decide whether we want to do this online school or the brick and mortar?
We ask that you make your decision as quickly as possible, but if it goes, you can take as long as you need to make that whatever's the best decision for your family.
Okay, so there's no cutoff that you're only going to allow so many students in the online.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next questions will be from Lori Andrews.
All right, hi.
Hi, Lori.
I don't want to take too much of your time, but I would just encourage the districts that you guys have been so positive, so responsive to like parent feedback, kind of piggybacking off what Beth was saying earlier. You know, when there's only 125 students divided from K through 12, it's very easy for these teachers to pull double duty in the evening. But if your numbers, you know, increase tenfold and now you're looking at 1,000 plus students, I would just ask you to seriously consider, you know, adopting dedicated teachers and live sessions for those students. I know you said like you like to have and provide flexibility for the older kids, but like Beth said, it's different if I wanted my kid to do this versus my kid's going to do this because of COVID, not because of their learning style. So again, just, you know, if you would be open to keeping that as in the back of your head, especially once you see numbers and if your numbers significantly increase. Thank you.
I guarantee you that Dr. Taylor's shaking his head yes, and Dr. McCracken, they are noting all of it. And I have seen just from the Zoom sessions, they've taken the parent input and they have already altered what we have put out to parents because of what the parents have requested and asked us to change. So
absolutely, and I definitely want to not just be a complainer. I definitely want to recognize that you guys are making significant changes. Everyone's overwhelmed, but just, you know, don't necessarily close that option down just yet.
No, and we don't consider this complaining. This is giving us feedback, so we appreciate it.
Okay, and our last question is from Sherry.
Mute. Hi. First, I just can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I just want to commend you all for the job you're doing. I can't imagine how overwhelmed and inundated you must be with everything you have to do, all the questions that you're getting. I don't know how you're answering them, how you've come up with your answers, but anyway, I want to commend you. And then secondly, I have a question. It's fairly simple, and it's not even specific to the courses. It's mostly, so if my children, I plan on letting them drive, you know, to school, so that's okay. I don't know with the parking situation, all that. I'm sure you're probably still working on that. But how does that work, say, at the end of the day? And how does that work for the days that they don't go to school, if they're in sports, for the after-school activities? Do they literally drive to school specifically for their after-school activities, even though they may have not had school on those days? How does that, do we have that portion of this worked out yet, or?
And Dr. Shelby, I'm going to yield to you for the last question.
I'd love to. Thank you, Sherry, for the question. We absolutely have it as part of our athletic and return to play, where students not learning face-to-face on 2 days out of the week would be able to drive back up onto campus on the other 3 days to do their screening when they arrive here through our athletic trainers and coaches. Also remember that many teams practice in the evenings more so than 3 o'clock. You know, we do use many 6 to 9 p.m. and so on practices as well, like we always have, where students return to campus in the evenings for practice. So we will be doing that screening tool before they arrive and implementing kids coming from the building to practice, kids coming from home to practice, and integrating them following our athletic return to play plan.
Okay. Thank you very much for participating tonight. I'd like to thank our administrative team, our online teachers, and Mrs. Henderson for sharing their expertise. I really appreciate it. And I also like to thank all the parents because as Ms. Harris mentioned, your feedback is really important to us, and we really do take it into consideration, and we alter our programming in order to meet your needs. So thank you very much for sharing that. And we will have the PowerPoint posted on our website tomorrow, sometime tomorrow morning, as well as a recording of this video. So thank you all. And if you have any additional questions, please reach out to Ms. Harris tomorrow, and she can help you out, okay? So have a good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.